There we go. All right, so decent gap down today, 0.8% lower. We got you guys down here about 4%. What's going on to the positive side here? Not much. Oh, shnikes. Hey, what's up, Rob? Got ourselves a down day on the NASDAQ after two nice up days. Yesterday ended up being a pretty stagnant day. We closed right about the middle of the range. And today we're starting off lower, so we'll see if we're just going to continue lower. Maybe have to redraw our trend line here to something else. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. Sometimes price action just doesn't fit and you're just generally choppy. Maybe that's where we're at. Hard to say. Had one nice bottoming day here the other day and follow through, and then lack so there of this week so far. Griffles. Atlassian holding that 200-day pretty nicely. If the market doesn't fall apart, that could get going. It's formed a good little base here for whenever the market decides to rebound. About 20% lower. Yeah, that could make some moves. There's not much up today. Our buddy BEP, our new friend BEP, still just sitting right there up at highs, man. They're loving this thing. No one's giving this up. 916 is when they really started jumping into it, which is pretty much when the market started selling off. I never did go back and reread that report. Well, not really a report, kind of a. Where is it? Got too many tabs open. There it is. The Investor Day from BEP. That kid's at my attention the whole rest of the day. Never had a chance to do anything. They're on a fall break. I didn't know they had fall breaks. I'm like, fall break, you have that? I don't think I ever had fall break. All right, NASDAQ down 0.75%. BEP is nice. Gold's leading the list today. And these things are so volatile, they're all over the place. Big old gappy gap. So maybe a baby inverted head and shoulders here with this as the neckline, or our same general trend line. Maybe that'll get going if things get too crazy. Too crazy to the downside, I'm talking about. No, not at all. SLV. Anything to make sure I don't have to type, Rob? I'm all about it. Oh, that's doing good today. 2%. Definitely volatile. Look at that nice parabolic move right there. And it's just working that off, it looks like. I didn't get any water this morning yet. I'll have to go and get water in a little bit here. Volume generally declining on silver. I mean, very high levels. Ever since that gold market broke out, you can see right there silver's just had a ton of interest. This could just be a nice larger first consolidation on silver, which would give it a nice breakout potential here when it decides to break out. Get some volume behind it. So far we got a little bit of volume this morning. We've seen much larger. Here's a much larger. Here's less. Here's today. Starbucks still breaking down? Looks like it. Constellation down at the 200. Twilio is still kind of holding up. Talked about that one last week and how it may potentially bottom, but that was kind of going on with the market bottoming, which it may or may not be doing. It's probably all dependent on China. Nasdaq almost down 1% now. One more tick lower would be 1%. There you go, 1% down for the Nasdaq. And it just popped right back up to 0.95. Transports, you mentioned how they're kind of the bellwether for, well, the stock market essentially. Moved down this morning. No major bottoming signals down there though. EPAM still holding pretty good. Very nice up here. Nice constructive base. DocU rallied a little bit yesterday. Looks like came back into the base ever so slightly today after a good close yesterday. Pocket pivot. And some of the best price action out there. MDCO actually is still looking pretty good. Not sure about ESNT though. Chipotle looks like it may be rolling over here. Let's see what it does next, the rest of the week probably. Match off the 200-day. Proof point still squeezing. I'm missing JD. There's JD. We have another level up there at the breakout. That's pretty good. AMDB, Winnebago. And UGAZ. Not running up for highs, but not yet quite breaking down either. Volume generally declining. Maybe it's going to take a while down here at the lows to get going, but if it stays down here too long, that bottoming volume will mean less and less, and then we may just chop. And take two. So there you go. Not a very good day here. All right, let's check out general garbage on the global watch list. AMBA gapping down pretty hard. Big reversal there. MMNFF, MJ name. Domino's Pizza finally coming off of its perch. Look on the weekly chart. 50 to 300 since 2012. And finally, looks like I'm maybe trying to come in some more. Oh, just Pays was up there too. There's Pays down by the 200. TNA, which is 3 times the Russell 2000 ETF, not having a good day. Actually, looking at TNA, we never really even had the retest of highs. Of course, it's TNA, it's not the actual Russell. Hexo not having a good week. Neither is Excel. Illumina firmly lower after a big gap. There's really not much here with any. Of course, I am looking at the ones down for the day, but even these on the daily chart, general trend is still firmly lower. They may not have this market in a correction, but it sure feels like it's in one. That's Beyond Meat. Haven't looked at this guy in a little while, and now I know why. It hasn't been doing anything in a little while. IIPR right at the 200-day moving average. That breaks that, it's game over. IDXS holding up pretty good. Nike doing well. Yeah, it probably is overpriced. If you look at a lot of the numbers, Skyworks Communications still looks really good, especially where it is. This is probably one of my favorite ones. We talked about this the other day. There was two of them. Skyworks and ABC. These were two I was looking at. Yeah, I think it is the fact they're overpriced. If you go to FinViz and look at their valuations, they're pretty rich. So take a look. Let's look at Tilray, kind of the poster child for MJ. They don't give a forward PE, but their EPS this year is negative 859%. So I'll bring it up on the screen here. But yeah, I definitely do think it's due to them just getting way too on fire way too early. So market cap of $2 billion, income is negative, sales is only 94 million. So your price to sales is 25, which I don't think that's massively bad. What's Apple's? Price to sales is 4. So it's a little bad. Amazon price to sales is 3. So you can see even price to sales is way out of whack. Let's look at another one. Microsoft price to sales 8. What else we got? Facebook price to sales 8. So even Amazon with some of the biggest crazy numbers in the world, PE of 72, their price to sales is single digits. You look at Tilray, price to sales is well above double digits, 25, 26. So still could potentially fall by 80%. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Rob. If it does fall back in line with, well, let's think of what's a very high growth sector? Cloud, so ServiceNow maybe. Price to sales of 16. That's not too bad. That's, 3 billion to 50 billion in terms of sales to market cap. KG. Nope. No KG. Must not be big enough. Oh, I guess I do have some water left. I'll take a little bit of water there. But yeah, so let's look at some other MJ names. CGC. They don't even have a price to sales ratio, but their market cap's 7 billion. They don't even show sales. That's garbage. Cold water. That's just from last night. Nothing floating in it. I thought it was empty. I guess it's not. Yay me. How do you not have sales numbers? I don't understand that sometimes. What's another one? Cron. There you go. There's one. Again, no sales numbers. These Canadian companies don't issue sales numbers. Price to book is 9.5. You get a book, but you don't have the sales, huh? Anyway. See if they talk about sales. Revenues of 10.2 million in the second quarter, a 58% increase from the first quarter. So we're still looking at sales in the millions. These market caps are well in the billions. So extrapolate that out, you're looking like a 40 million sales. 40 million in sales for Cron to 3 billion market cap. So yeah, still pretty rich. So yeah, we may see those firmly lower. How's Tesla? Tesla's fine. Tesla's fine. So far. Not too bad. NASDAQ down 1.1. We got you guys down 4%. Still living towards the lower this morning. Unable to break the opening range. Looks like the VIX is up today. Boeing takes $20 million stake in Virgin Galactic. Really? It's to get you like 1%? Oh, this should be funny. South Park creator issues mock apology to China. That should be good. Man, Chinese are sensitive people. Yeah. The episode called Banned in China, B-A-N-D, not B-A-N-N-E-D, but B-A-N-D, Banned in China, pokes fun at China's strict censorship laws and ridicules Hollywood for shaping its entertainment to please the Chinese government. On Monday, Beijing reportedly responded by deleting all clips, episodes, and online discussions of the long-run comedy program. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, issued an official apology to China via Twitter. Oh, that should be good. Okay, I gotta see this now. Way more fun than the markets. Markets down 1.13%. Let's go look, see if YouTube's got it. So we're gonna have South Park banned in China. There we go. Is it up here yet?
I want to get away from that farm more than anything. But it's not worth living in a world where China controls my country's art.
Oh, what is it? Oh, it's at South Park? Okay, let's go look at that instead of making you guys watch some stupid video. All right, let's take a look. Watch new banned in China for free. You gotta lower your ideals of freedom if you want to suck at the teat of China. Yeah, right? That will go to war over. Hate to say that, but where's this apology? Like the NBA, we welcome the Chinese censors into our homes and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy. Xi doesn't just look like Winnie the Pooh at all. Tune into our 300th episode. Long live great Communist Party of China. May the autumn sorghum harvest be bountiful. We good now, China? Nice. Oh, there we go. What? How is this not on Twitter? Official apology to China from Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Wow. We happened to stumble across it, Mel. We just happened to stumble across it. Seemed a lot more fun than what we were doing watching the market drop. Do I think you guys will retest the lows or break lower to old lows? I don't know. The way it's behaving, I don't have a lot of faith in it at the moment. Um, well, it's not dropping. It's down. We're down 1.16%. The problem is every time we bounce up to highs, we seem to drop back firmly lower. And the recent trend here has been more elevated volume on the down days. We've only had a few up days with elevated volume. Very infrequent though. But it's not. It's down 1.18%. We started out, not that low. But in terms of you guys there, Rob, I don't know. We had some good volumes down here. Maybe it was just short covering. It's possible. But without any bounces and firmly lower, we should be holding higher up here, preferably near that 16 level, and then dropping down towards the 13s, which we're right now in the middle of the 13s. So if it starts undercutting that 13.5 right there, obviously we'll start going lower throughout the day. What that means for futures, a little murkier. Obviously we had that big bottom at about 12.5 right down here. Tremendous amount of volume right there. Atlassian down 4.45%. That's an interesting drop. Yeah, Intel versus AMD, what you got? They're both dropping? Intel sitting on $3 billion in cash. Well, does AMD have any? You can have a loss while having cash. Let's look at some FinViz numbers. I happen to have FinViz handy. So Intel has, where's cash? Oh, 2.67 cash per share. AMD has $1 in cash per share. And your shares outstanding are 1 billion. So it looks like AMD has $1 billion. And AMD has about between 12 and between 8 and 12 billion dollars, somewhere in there. So Intel's got a lot more cash, but that's nothing for these companies, man. That's nothing. What's your idea there, Mel? Yeah, looks like the bottom wants to drop out of this thing. Well, they're the kind of. I mean, they kind of. When you think about chips these days, too, you end up having to realize that um, those ARM processors. A lot of the big companies are now using those ARM processors I mean, they're big enough to have their own their own chip engineers now. So it's almost like it's just servers in computer markets or consumer markets, but the really big players design their own chips. So it's interesting. It is still Intel and AMD, um, but there's a lot of DIY companies out there. Yeah, maybe Mel. It's not something. Yeah, it's not a tradable thing. It's not something I usually get involved with. Stuff like that. I won't buy a company for its great long-term outlook. A lot of companies have great long-term outlooks. Yeah, so let's look at chip market, Intel, AMD, and shoot, what's the other name? I already forgot it. ARM. No. Yeah, the real question at the end of the day, though, is where are you putting money to work? No one cares who wins the chip wars if the stock doesn't move. So, Atlassian firmly. That's taking a big drop this morning. That's quite a bit of volume too. Nasdaq down 1.4%. Well, the ARM tech is good. The thing with the ARM is it's mainly just IP. So these guys design these ARM processors and they just collect that money, and the big players make the chips. Like Apple makes its own chip now, I believe. Tesla recently designed its own self-driving car chip. Doesn't use any off-the-shelf chips. Um, I think Samsung's been developing their chips for a while. Could be wrong there, but I don't think you're finding Intel chips in smartphones. You're finding some Samsung Snapdragon processors. So, I mean, the chip space is really, I think, opened. It's like wide open because, like, how many people manufacture chips versus 10 years ago? I would say it's gone up by tenfold. Snapdragon was designed by Intel, but do they still make money off of it? Anyway, I don't care about the idiosyncrasies of the issue. My general point is that um, it's not simply an AMD versus Intel fight. I mean, maybe it is, but maybe it's not. That's funny. AMD's. I found a list about top semiconductor manufacturers in the world. Some weird little website. Talk about Samsung being number one, Intel being number two, SK Hynix, whatever that is, number three, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor, is leading wafer manufacturer, number four, Micron, Avago, Qualcomm, Toshiba, Texas Instruments, Nvidia. Doesn't even mention AMD. Now it mentions AMD. But it's in alphabetical order, so who knows how they rank that. Anyway, the point is that it's a big world out there. All right, see what Intel's got to, or Intel Investors Business Daily's got to say about some things here. Yeah, nothing right there. Stock of the day. What's their stock of the day? SAIA. 94 composite rating. It's just above a buy point? What buy point are you talking about? $84.53. From what base? 3 weeks tight or something? Hmm. All right. Well, I don't know what's going on with IBD. They're all over the damn place. They're starting to piss me off. Bye. Twilio lower. You guys still sitting down there. IMDb. AMD breaking down, but looks like it wants to break that 200-day moving average with a decent little H pattern here. We'll see how that goes. Is you guys bouncing? Not doing too bad. Well, recession and stock market are two different things. Recession time you would hear that after the fact. Recession, you get everything in reverse. Stock market looks at everything ahead. So the stock market may go into a correction while the economy is trying to go into a recession. So could be recession time. The way a lot of the numbers are looks like they're working out. I did find a event list of things today. There we go. 1 p.m. results of 38 billion 3-year note auction. That is going to be 11 a.m. my time, so it's in about 4 hours. Three hours, actually. That'd be 10 my time, so that'd be in about 3 hours. And then Jerome Powell speaking, which will obviously move the markets. Probably up since the market's moving down right now. Redbook chain store sales. Producer price index. I think that already came out, 8:30. IBD TPP economic optimism poll in about 49 minutes. No, I've not tried rate of change on stocks yet. I haven't had a lot of extra time just to sit down and do analysis these days, unfortunately. On high time frames, let's take a look. Link took another leg, which is cool. KG. Yeah, I'll do that real quick. I'm going to bounce out of here in a minute too, guys. Maybe I'll go back look. Yeah, I'm not. Well, it's past our trend lines there. So there's no other trend line. There's really no other trend line to have. So this is going to go on to form another pattern / consolidation. It may move with that MJ market. There's a thing about not falling in love with the stock, Rob. This is one of those situations where you just kind of maybe have to walk away. And then, look at it every once in a while. You can keep an eye on it, but, I wouldn't really be, be jumping on it, which I don't think you are, but, yeah, it's a 7 cent. 7 cents. Seems a little low. They weren't down to 7 cents. At least I don't think. I mean, it's broken all the trend lines, Rob, and I really don't have a target. Yeah, at this point, you're just looking for some type of a bottoming pattern or something. You're looking for something. Yeah, it doesn't have anything, man. I mean, not much in the market does right now. I would argue this is probably and we've probably been there for a while now. We've talked about it for a minute. Is not being super heavily invested because the market's just trash right now. Things aren't moving up, so why invest? I mean, really. If we're gonna go, I think everybody's eyeballing a recession. Period. So until that. Between the China trade war, the recession talk, those are probably the two big things right now. And outside of that, everything's noise. So until those resolve, we may not see much movement. I mean, you're going to get a pop here and there, but I don't think you're really going to get a tremendous amount of movement by any stretch of the imagination. But this thing's just too choppy right now to even care about. I don't know about Brexit. Maybe not. I think that's such an old issue right now. If you remember when the referendum actually passed back in, was it 2015 now? 2016, whenever it was. The market completely reversed course after the election. So it's definitely sell the rumor, buy the news in that particular circumstance. I think a lot of people these large institutions, they've already done their homework. They pretty much know what's going to happen in almost any situation at this point in time. So I don't know. Well, I don't know how Brexit's going to affect DocuSign. You know what I mean? I don't think it's much of an event. I think it's an opportunity for institutions to play with small investors is really what it is. So that's my general thought. You'll have some market movement probably based on that, but it'll be short-lived. And if it goes in line with the rest of the market sentiment, it could exacerbate a move in the same direction. But I don't know. It won't cause the market to change trend. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to go bullish because of a Brexit deal. No one's going to care that much. I mean, look, the best case scenario for Brexit is that everything stays as it is. That's the best case scenario for Brexit, at least in my opinion. I'm not deeply, I'm not knee deep in the issue, but I mean, everyone's saying no deal is bad, so good deal is good, and therefore good means nothing's changing because all they're doing is leaving a contract. So the best deal scenario there is that the contract conditions stay in play. That's it. Not like economies are going to get a boost or anything like that. I mean, you may have some companies that are stalling some capital investment, but I don't think it's a situation where, like I said, you're going to have a tremendous amount of movement. Anyway. No, I don't think so. Not really. So, look, if they leave and there's no deal, that will be worse than deal. But I think there's a lot of people already removing positions, taking that risk off of the table. Whatever that risk is, I think it's being removed and has partially already been removed. Are cannabis stocks recession proof? I don't think so. We haven't been in a recession yet, and the cannabis stocks haven't done very well. And we actually just looked at those earlier, Jake, and they have a long way to fall still on a fundamental perspective. These things could easily drop another 50%. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to think that those are recession-proof at all. You want to see definite, just cash, okay? Just do cash if you're really concerned. You don't need to be invested in anything. You can stay cash, and in a lot of circumstances, that is a very good thing to do, is remain cash. So, all right, guys, well, I'm going to get out of here. Make breakfast for the kids, probably. So market looks like it's stabilized where it is right now, about down 1.15%. So far, no further downside action. We'll see if that changes throughout the day. There's a couple of things happening. Powell's speech coming up later in the day. That guy needs to stop speaking. Yeah, no problem, Rob. CML, see you, Jake. Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.